All right, hey everyone, this is Garrett, brand ambassador at Zaca Mesa Winery and Sommelier, here again for another edition of our Zaca Mesa at Home Wine Wednesday. Tonight I will be going through our 2016 Roussanne, 100% Roussanne, all grown right on our estate in the beautiful San Ynez Valley. I don't know about you guys, but it has been very warm today. Things are heating up. I'm excited to go check out the vineyard coming up this Saturday and see where things are at, out in the vineyard. Once again, I have my lovely wife and assistant behind the camera and director. She will be writing down any questions that you guys have as we go through this. So please feel free to ask any questions, whether it's Roussanne related or not. Love to hear from you guys. Real quick, a couple changes. This Saturday, I was supposed to be doing the winery tour at our production facility at 3 o'clock for our Saturday tasting. We're going to have to reschedule that. They're doing some maintenance on the production facility right now. So I will be doing the glassware demo this Saturday and switching the winery tour to next Saturday. So this Saturday, we're going to switch it up and do the glassware demo. I'll be going through our different styles of glassware that we use at Zaca Mesa and some that I personally use just for different varietals, and why the shape of the glass and the type of glassware is important when it comes to tasting wine. To get started, 2016 Roussanne. I'm just gonna start with the vintage overall. 2016, we are getting off of two of our warmer seasons on our in record and history for our area. And 16, we started off looking like it was going to be a continuation of 14 and 15 with some early bud break. But things started to cool off in the springtime, warm back up in the beginning of summer, and then drop back down as we got closer to harvest. So a little up and down and kind of balanced things out. It kept the acidity a little higher, kept the sugar a little lower. And we ended up with a really nice vintage. Actually, one of, if not my favorite vintage that I've had so far at Zaca Mesa. 2016 is also the very first vintage of our current head winemaker, Kristen Bryden. So a couple new additions with that vintage. This Roussanne, we hand harvest everything out on our vineyard. It's aged for 10 months. And about 42% new French oak. So this is actually, for our whites, the largest amount of new French oak that we use on any of our white programs. And there's a reason for that. Roussanne, a little thicker skin grape that actually develops this kind of brown, rusty color on the grape skin as it gets closer to harvest. And that comes from rousse, which in French means rust. So these grapes, develop these almost like kind of a sunburn on the skin as they get closer to picking. A little thicker skin on Roussanne. It's definitely a more textural, a little more structured, full body white wine. In the tasting room, I always recommend this to people who are looking for something that is a little more full bodied, kind of like I would compare it most closely to like a full bodied Chardonnay. As far as having more of that tannin structure and that full body feel. Something that's very unique with this varietal is its serving temperature. So we actually recommend serving this a little closer towards a red wine serving temperature. So while yes, we want to have a slight chill on it, we don't want to chill this as much as we would a Riesling or a Sauvignon Blanc or Viognier. Because the aromatics and the flavor profile just really shut down. So this wine has gotten the nickname the Red Lover's White over the years, for a couple of those reasons. One, it's served at a little more of a red wine serving temperature, as well as red drinkers seem to really gravitate towards it because of its structure and profile. On the notes, our Roussanne always has this nice kind of spiced pear and honey, herbal tea note on the aromatics. Perfect temperature. So I pulled this out of my wine fridge about an hour ago, and now it's perfect. Texturally, it gives you that full mouthfeel. With the 40% New French oak on there, definitely coats your mouth with that nice, kind of vanilla, toasted vanilla note. How we process this after hand picking, we'll press it and cold settle for about 24 hours and then transfer over to barrel. So neutral and new oak barrels. So this wine actually ferments in barrel on the lees. So that adds even more of that nice textural mouthfeel to it. And I got a question.
You have a few.
Yeah.
What time on Saturday for the glassware?
Yes, Saturday will be our normal time of 5 p.m. Pacific time. And then the winery tour will be at 3 o'clock the following Saturday.
Okay, and CB Liga says, we drank our 2016 Roussanne a month after receiving it. We are tasting the 2016 Z Cuvette Blanc. How do they compare?
Yeah, so the Cuvette Blanc and Roussanne, the Cuvette Blanc is actually majority based of Roussanne. It's a white Rhone blend. So if I'm remembering correctly, and I could be wrong on this, I believe it's either 48 or 58% Roussanne. I think 58 off the top of my head. But, it has a good amount of Roussanne in there. So you have that nice body of Roussanne, but it does have Grenache Blanc and Viognier. Cuvette Blanc's a fantastic wine. I'm actually doing the Cuvette Blanc and the Z Cuvée, our red Rhone blend and our white Rhone blend, next Wednesday. So hold on to that bottle if you have another one, and so you can drink that with me next Wednesday. Or if you need a few more, we can always arrange that. But the Cuvette Blanc just it's a blend of our 3 different white Rhone varietals that we grow. So you get some of the Roussanne, some of the Grenache Blanc, some of the Viognier. Roussanne's more of the mouthfeel, the texture, the honeycomb, spiced pear, fig. Grenache Blanc brings in that more mineral and citrus note. And then Viognier just adds that nice little kind of tropical fruit, stone fruit, and little floral characteristic to the wine. Both wines fantastic. Cuvette Blanc has been my favorite white wine that we produce at Zaca Mesa for quite some time. And I like the variation from vintage to vintage. Is that cool? This vintage of Roussanne, again, we're going to age this in about just over 40% New French oak for the 10-month period, and during that time it's also fermenting and aging on the lees. Lees are the dead skin, dead yeast that settles at the bottom of the barrel, and we do some stirring in that, which then coats the mouthfeel. Roussanne is also unique in the way of its aging. It's actually a white wine that does better with some bottle aging. A lot of California whites, you tend to want to drink more youthful, but Roussanne doesn't really start opening up until about 4 or 5 years in bottle. So this being a 2016, it's just at that point where we're like, all right, I think we're good on starting to open this wine. But really starts hitting some really cool notes when you start getting closer to that 8+ year period. We recently did a library event at the winery just before the COVID-19 outbreak, and we had the 2006 Roussanne that we were tasting, and it was super cool. I mean, it shocked so many people, not expecting to see a white wine that almost 14 years old, taste the way that it did. Still had so much acid and so much texture and all these cool different characteristics that you don't typically see in a lot of California white wines. There's white wines in Europe, French whites or German whites that you'll see can push the time of age 10+, 20+ years, but in California you don't see that a lot. And Roussanne is definitely one of those exceptions of a wine that does really well with some nice bottle aging. another sip here. Roussanne has been at our winery. We planted it back in 1997. So Roussanne has been at our vineyard for quite some time now. We really started to get really 100% focused in the Rhone varietals in the early 90s, and Roussanne came to join us a bit later. Kind of a funny story, and I had talked about this a little bit when I had my live tasting with Fess Parker Winery, and our first vintage of Viognier was actually Roussanne. It was an accidental. These clones were mixed up, and the Viognier turned out to actually be Roussanne. So we accidentally planted Roussanne unintentionally, and then went forward with it after the first vintage when it came out, figuring out that was actually the Viognier was actually Roussanne. So Roussanne was originally an accidental planting, but ended up working out pretty well. Now we have just over 4 acres of Roussanne on our estate, some of which we actually sell to some other producers as well. Pairings for this wine. My favorite food to pair with Roussanne is shellfish, lobster, just like plain, boiled lobster with butter, crab and butter goes so well. Roussanne just has that nice creamy texture, but it's higher in acid, so that kind of salty, buttery note that you get from lobster and crab just works really nicely with it. You can also do some similar foods that you would do with like a full-bodied Chardonnay. White pastas, if you have like a lobster mac and cheese, is super killer. And pork dishes as well do pretty nice. Roussanne is actually my favorite Thanksgiving wine. A lot of people typically do Pinot Noir or Grenache, but Roussanne is fantastic with those heavier carb dishes. Turkey, mashed potatoes, gravy, stuffing, all that kind of stuff goes really nice with Roussanne. And just they're a great little pair, and it's nice to for people that may not like drinking red wine, you have that white wine to go with that Thanksgiving dinner.
Terry Smith said that she likes your t-shirt.
Oh, thank you, Terry. This was my little creation in our tasting room. It's got all our great varietals on here, and we have this in our tasting room merchandise available for purchase. We are offering pickups now at the winery on Saturdays by appointment only between 10 o'clock and 3 o'clock p.m. So starting this Saturday, we're going to be doing pickups. You just email me directly, Garrett, Garrett, @zacamesa.com, or go to our website. You can also call my cell as well to schedule that. So any orders, or if you have a club shipment, if you're a club member and you want to pick up your club shipment, if you already haven't shipped it out already, you can schedule a pickup for that, and that's starting this Saturday. If you want merchandise as well, absolutely, you can add that to your order as well. It's kind of nice to get out, if you're local, and just go on a drive. The Foxwood Wine Trail is so beautiful. And what other great reason is there to get out and get a couple bottles of wine and enjoy some fresh air and some beautiful scenery, see how the vineyards are doing. I'm looking forward to it this Saturday. Also, we got Mother's Day coming up this Sunday. Happy Mother's Day coming up to all you moms out there. And what better a way to treat your mom than getting her some wine. We're doing a nice little promotion tonight from running through today to Mother's Day on Sunday. It's a 6-bottle order. It can be a combination of our Rosé of Grenache, because what mom doesn't love dry rosé, and our Roussanne. So you can either do 6 of either or a mixture of both of those wines to get to 6. We're doing $5 shipping. 15% off for non-club members and 30% off for club members. So just email me again, Garrett, Garrett, @zacamesa.com, and I will get that order in for you guys. You can also go to our website, zacamesa.com. This Roussanne's tasting really good right now. Yeah, that's good. One thing I like about Roussanne too, it's it's different, it's unique. Other than the fact that it serves a little bit warmer, the flavor profiles I think are very stand out. If you were to put this wine, next to some other, Chardonnay, Sauvignon Blanc, Riesling, stuff like that, it really just stands out. It just has more of this spiced and kind of like herbal tea and fig, honeycomb, and it's just so structural but also so juicy at the same time. It's a really unique, beautiful wine, and the fact that you can lay it down and age it, that's just another plus to it. The other thing with Roussanne too, it can be a little more difficult to grow. It's a little more finicky, grape varietal. It's more susceptible to mold. It can be pretty. The yields can kind of vary from vintage to vintage pretty heavily. So, with this vintage, we got about 360 cases, but we've had those numbers kind of go up and down throughout the years. Any other questions out there, guys? What are you guys drinking? Anybody else drinking any type of Roussanne type wine, or any particular Zacamesa wines that you're enjoying right now at home? Well, just to remind everyone, our $5 shipping deal is still going on. 3 or more bottles, you get $5 shipping. Our promotion for Mother's Day starting today through Sunday, 6 or more bottles, combination of our Roussanne and Rosé of Grenache that just came out. Get some wine for your mom, $5 shipping plus the 15% off or 30% off for club members. This Saturday, we switched it up. We're doing the demo on glassware. I am using our Rhone Hermitage glass for Roussanne. Roussanne is a varietal that specifically does much better in particular glassware because of its aromatic profile. It tends to be a little more restrained aromatically, so having this particular glassware helps out a lot to really concentrate and get all those wonderful notes that comes out in Roussanne. Do you have a question?
Not a question. S. Fate said, we recently drank the Z Cuvée. We are going to drink a Rosé of Grenache.
Nice. Yeah, Z Cuvée I'll be doing next Wednesday with our Z Cuvette Blanc. That rosé just came out. It's a beautiful dry rosé. We had a bottle of that 2 nights ago, I think, if I'm remembering correctly, 2 nights ago. Just a nice, beautiful, dry rosé. There's that fresh strawberry, watermelon. I always say watermelon Jolly Ranchers is one of my favorite little notes in it. One of my favorite candies as well.
The Wine Militia. Garrett, what are your thoughts on Roussanne blended with Grenache Blanc?
Hey, what's up, Wine Militia? Bet that is Lamar, I'm assuming. Thanks again for joining me last weekend. What are your thoughts on Roussanne blended with Grenache Blanc? Yeah, I mean, we do it with our Z Cuvée Blanc, Roussanne Grenache Blanc Viognier. Sometimes you also see Marsanne blended with it. I think it's great. I think I like Roussanne as a standalone. But any blend is awesome if it's done right. If you can take a few different varietals and put them together, and you can get the distinct characteristics from each wine, where one's not kind of over dominating the other, then it makes it it's almost like it's its own separate varietal. I think Grenache Blanc particularly is a really good varietal with Roussanne because it's so contrasting. As Grenache Blanc is more of those citric, that kind of lemon lime zest, green apple, a lot of minerality as well. So those 2 varietals, Roussanne and Grenache Blanc, just for whatever reason they work so well together, and they're so different. They make a completely a different kind of varietal.
RJ Garden asks, what temperature do you like to drink Roussanne at?
Yeah, so Roussanne, one of the misconceptions with wine, unfortunately, you go to certain restaurants, and they may not have the best wine program, and you order a glass of white wine, and it's got that condensation on it, and it's almost ice cold, and then you get red wine, and it's 80 degrees. Room temperature is different than proper serving temperature. Unfortunately, when you go to some places, you don't get that. Places that have a great wine program, you get wine served at the temperature it should be served at. But Roussanne should be somewhere in the kind of low 50s, high 40s, low 50s kind of range. So anywhere from 48 to maybe 55 degrees. So just that very slight chill on it, where most red wine should be in the closer to 60 range, 55 to 65 range. Most rooms aren't 60, 65 degrees, so to put a bottle of red wine on a bar where it's 75 degrees, 75 degrees, that wine's not going to be at proper serving temperature. So Roussanne, just below what you would serve kind of a normal red wine. So it just really kind of opens up, and you get more of those aromatics, more of those textural components that Roussanne is so known for.
Gary Johnson asks, you mentioned it was hot today. How will it handle higher growing temperatures?
How will it handle higher growing temperatures? So how does the grape varietal handle higher, like hotter growing temperatures? Yeah, I mean, Roussanne itself, I mean, it's from mainly the Rhone region in France, and it typically grows in a more, warmer, moderate to warmer climate. So where we grow it here on the vineyard is great. It actually is more susceptible to mold, so if you have somewhere where, let's say, closer to the coast, maybe Santa Rita Hills or Santa Rita Valley, you could have a little more issue with mildew. Where we grow it, it's dry. It grows perfectly. You see it a lot in Paso as well. It does really well. So we got a really nice ideal spot to grow Roussanne.
Ray Moreno said, between 2012 to 16, and other year that stands out of Roussanne. I don't know if he's just saying that.
What was it? Sorry.
Ray Murrow, between 2012 to 16, and other year that stands out of Roussanne.
Oh, okay, yeah. So actually, let me take it back a little bit. 2009 is one of the best vintages of Roussanne that we've ever had. 2006, 2009 were amazing vintages. I actually still have a couple bottles of 2009 in my own little personal collection that I'm holding on to. It was a fantastic vintage. Between 2012 and now, we didn't do a 15 vintage. 13 was really nice and 12 was really nice. I'm actually curious to see where those two vintages are now after that kind of 8 to 9 year mark. So I'll be looking forward when we get back to the winery to check on and see how those wines are doing. Again, Roussanne is a white wine that does better with some aging. So sometimes, like I said, it takes about 4 to 5 years for this wine to really open up.
He said, "Is there another year?" Sorry, that's what he meant.
Yeah. So another year, like I said, 2012 and 2013 were a couple nice vintages for Roussanne. Our Roussanne has been pretty consistent. The only vintages in the last decade that have been disappointing was the 2010 and the 2011 vintage. And I believe 2010, and I could be wrong, it was either 2010 or 2011 had rain and we got mildew and rot and we lost a bunch of the Roussanne, and the Roussanne that we did end up using just did not come around after bottle aging. But since then, since 2012, the vintages have been really consistent and nice.
Susan asks, just joined the conversation. We find Roussanne to be quite oily. Is there anything wrong with this?
No, not at all. I mean, it's known to have that kind of almost like peanut oil, or a nutty oiliness to it. And that just depends on I think where that Roussanne's coming from in most cases. I think our Roussanne, I don't know if you had our Roussanne or not, I don't think it really has much of that to it, but I've also sometimes in some vintages you'll get that a little bit of petrol, almost like in some German Rieslings we get that kind of petrol, oil kind of note to it. So yeah, I mean it's distinct to the varietal. You're not nuts. And Wine Militia, nice, love the Cuvette Blanc, awesome. Yeah, my favorite white wine we do at Zaca Mesa, our nice Roussanne Grenache Blanc Vineyard blend, which again I'll be doing next Wednesday. It's getting better and better. Well, thanks guys. Again, just to close out, this Saturday I'll be doing a little demo on using different glassware and why the shape of the glassware is important. Unfortunately it'd be great if you had those glasses and you can see it yourself, but I promise you if you go out and get some different glassware and pour the same wine in those different shapes, you'll definitely see a big difference. So this Saturday, a little demo on glassware, 5 o'clock. The following Wednesday, I'll be doing the Cuvée and the Cuvette Blanc. And then that Saturday, I will be doing 5/16. I will be doing a winery tour at the winery. I'll be there on property, going through our production process. That'll be at 3 o'clock p.m. Our current promotion right now for Mother's Day, 6 or more bottles, mix and match, Roussanne, Rosé of Grenache, get your mom some wine, $5 shipping plus 15% off. Club members, you'll get 30% off. And that's running just from today until Saturday. My name, Garrett. My email, garrett@zacamesa.com. Shoot me an email, and if you want to get that order in, we are still offering our private virtual tastings with any 3 or more bottle purchase, as well as $5 shipping. So if you don't want to get the Rosé or Roussanne, get whatever 3 or more bottles, get your shipping deal, plus set up a private tasting with me. I've done quite a few of them now. It's been really fun. I've had people, send a few bottles to relatives, friends, and then they all join in. I've had up to 7, 8 separate groups on one Zoom live tasting. So it's been really fun. So if you do end up purchasing a few bottles, why not? It's free. Take advantage of it. And again, thank you to my lovely wife, who is a mother. We have 2 beautiful daughters. So wish her a happy Mother's Day, please. She is Lauren Black 23. She's the one making all the comments on our Zaca page as we go through these live tastings, and has been helping me a lot to go through these. Why don't you come say hi? No. On Saturday, you're going to meet her. That's on okay. Saturday, the day before Mother's Day, I'm going to get her behind the camera over here and introduce herself, and so you can see the beautiful woman behind the camera. Thank you, everyone. Again, I love doing these. Shoot me an email if you want to set something up, get some wine, pick up some wine at the winery. One last time, Garrett@zacamesa.com, our website, zacamesa.com, and follow us on Instagram. This video will be on Instagram for the next 24 hours, and then we'll be on our YouTube page. So appreciate everyone for watching. Thanks, Lamar from Wine Militia, for tuning in and saying a couple words. Hopefully we'll do another tasting soon. Take care, everyone.
And happy Mother's Day.
And happy Mother's Day. Cheers.
I don't know. It left Instagram. You have to go back.
Touch anything. There we go.